little different with me since I'm a bigger dude. People kind of like part. I feel like Andre the Giant from Princess Bride. Everybody move.
Oh, that could be. I'm the opposite. I do the duck and weave quite well, or just the follow Trina. That's the move I like to do. She'll lead the way.
It was definitely easier to access the stuff that I wanted to look at, and after Chelsea explained yesterday how to search up stuff, it was a lot easier to be like, well, look, I want video games, I want board games, I want toys, you know.
Yeah,
So
it was a good trick.
it worked out.
And if anybody needs that trick, just go watch our video from yesterday. It is available on YouTube. Dead air. People talk.
Trying to think if I learned any fun tricks today. Not really.
We have plenty of stuff to talk about for the day. We're just not ready. We're getting things ready to go before we open it up to that.
There was some stuff that I hadn't noticed before that I'm eager for tomorrow that we'll talk about today. Cartoon Network and Adult Swim are doing a lot of stuff. And with their Adult Swim, with their agreement with HBO Max, I think it's going to be a really exciting time.
Is that stuff part of Comic-Con proper, or is it on different platforms?
There is some Comic-Con stuff for Adult Swim. So I know Adult Swim's having their own virtual con, but there is some stuff in the Comic-Con website, in the programming. Including their the Hulu Crossing Swords stuff. So I'm probably going to go watch that. So, you know.
That's an animated series?
It's kind of like Robot Chicken, if you're familiar with Robot Chicken.
I only know these things as sort of irreverent animated type things, and that's enough for me to not click play.
Right. Stop motion animation, I mean.
Okay.
You know, it's the same producers.
Very nice.
Awesome. Yeah, Crossing Swords is that show I was telling you about with Nicholas Hoult.
Right. So I'm definitely going to be checking that out. They have the episodes to watch, and you know.
Awesome. All right, everybody, welcome to our Comic-Con at Home Day 1 live stream spectacular. Technically, this is our third day of live streaming, but if this was Comic-Con properly, and it sort of is because this is the proper version of this year's Comic-Con, it would be day 1 of full things happening. And I have no idea why I'm so washed. Apparently, I'm just going to look like a ghost. But before we really I just wanted to ask our audience, like anybody that's watching, and this is good for, you know, the rest of the time we're talking, some things to think about and talk to us about today. One, what panels did you watch? How many panels did you watch? Did they hold your attention? And how could they have been improved? So that's like an area of that where like I'm very curious about everyone's reactions today. So like if you're here, if you're watching with us, please chat with us in the live chat. If you have any questions, ask us. We can see it. And otherwise, we're going to get through our exciting days because I don't know about the three of you guys, but I am overwhelmed by Comic-Con. They figured out a way to make it feel just as anxious and overwhelming as the actual event. Maybe even more so because I'm at home and I like when you're at Comic-Con, you have to choose one thing and that one thing you're completely focused on while you're there. This time I was like, I got my laptop, I got my TV, I got my phone, it was too much. But yes, who wants to get into some of their exciting flow of the day?
Peter, do you wanna? You were saying.
We'll start. So I took this time to actually look at the exhibit hall and see some good merch to buy. Really excited with Blizzard stuff. Especially with their Hot Wheel line of Overwatch cars. And also they'll be doing free shipping until Monday midnight. So if you're going to want to get any of the Blizzard swag, you should head over there now. They have a code and everything. I really wanted to show off these cars on their website. I sent you the link. Did I? I did not.
It's all right. Too late now?
Yeah, but these cars are based off of the characters from Overwatch, so they're almost sold out. So if you really like Overwatch and you really like Hot Wheels, I would definitely get those with free shipping. They're like $20.
Which, if for those that have not been to Comic-Con before, Blizzard tends to sell out of everything before the weekend is over. So it is definitely a booth to go hit and buying any of their limited edition or exclusives.
Artwork, T-shirts. There's a really cool tie-dye Murloc shirt, the little fish guy. It's some great stuff. So I would head over there. Over at Upper Deck, they're doing they have some new stuff for Legendary, which is their deck building game. Some of their stuff that they're selling off, they have alternate artwork for some of their cards, including the original game, Legendary Marvel. One of the things that I complained about it when I bought it like years ago was that every hero had the same artwork on it, but now if you buy the alternate artwork Legendary, it's going to have um, different cards now, and it should have alternates of that. Also, Aliens has alternate artwork. Um, Cryptozoic was talking about their game on what's it called? Steven Universe. They had a Steven Universe game on Kickstarter, and they were talking about that on their website. It's a battling game. They're looking for support for it. So if you want to head over to Cryptozoic and check out the tabletop stuff they have plenty of games. We did a lot of work with Cryptozoic in when we worked at the Monday Night Bar. Behemoth, a little underwhelming. They're not releasing any new games, but they have some vinyl figures which are super popular for the Castle Crashers and their Pit People game, which is their tactical game. Really great figurines for the Pit People and Castle Crashers. So if you like vinyl figures and you like Behemoth games, I would head over there as well. No specials, it seems like. But the thing I was kind of floored with was Square Enix's Marvel toys. So Square Enix did the Star Wars line, and now they have a Marvel line of figurines. And I thought these were super, super cool. Highly detailed, super posable. The Captain figurine is I think it's my second favorite because I love Iron Spider. The Iron Spider is super cool, the poses you can do, because those I was going to call them tentacles, but basically his spider legs are fully posable as well. So if you're the kind of person that wants to pose your action figures on your wall or something like that, you can have them do really cool poses and things like that. And that Captain one is just really, I like how he's like standing there with his shield. So that was I saw that and I'm like, I'm going to get at least one of those this year.
It sounds like you spent a lot more time on the floor today than
yeah.
the rest of us. I was like, but getting your toy nerdy gaming on is always a good thing. The only I tried to do some shopping this morning, and I really wanted to get this one puzzle from Mondo, and then I realized that it wasn't limited edition, and when it released, it was at the same time that a whole bunch of other things were dropping at 9 a.m. And I just went, this pre-order is open through the weekend. I can take my time ordering it, just in case something else pops up that I want, like I just was like, maybe don't buy it instantly. But how gorgeous is that puzzle?
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, I really just want that. It's a 1,000-piece puzzle from Mondo.
And it looks difficult because it's limited colors.
They also announced some of their Saturday exclusives, and they've got more posters coming out. So like tomorrow, there's this amazing Two-Face artwork poster where it's literally double-sided poster, which I don't know how you do a limited edition poster that's double-sided and expect people to be able to show that off in their home, like without two of them.
Glue.
Because it's literally Two-Face, so it's two different designs on the poster. I was like, but then they announced for Saturday this Bill and Ted's poster that I've just absolutely loved. So definitely go check out Mondo's box near you. But we both got boxes from Amazon's virtual con today. If she has her box, she can show you guys. Mine is not here, but inside the box included this little badge for the con today. And
nice.
with the lanyard that, let's see if I can show it here. It says Amazon Virtual Con. So this is what made me feel like I was at Comic-Con today. I wore this all day to feel like I had a badge and was like going through my panels with like my press access or whatever it was. So thank you, Comic-Con, and to Amazon for that. Also, sunglasses and a bunch of snacks. I don't have the snacks because I gave them all to Trina. Otherwise, I would show them to you because I can't eat them. Trina is not showing the box. She just wants to show the cover of it to everybody.
It's a nice box.
I realized today I miss the lanyard. Like, I'm jealous of the lanyard you have.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the unboxing.
So yeah, everybody got kettle chips, and there's some Swedish fish in there, and some Sour Patch Kids, and some sunglasses that say Amazon Virtual Con. They're just a little something.
It's a very thoughtful gesture, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, additionally, if you went back to Amazon's page to see what launched for the Virtual Con, they had a whole bunch of stuff that actually happened for the Virtual Con today.
I actually spent quite a bit of my morning at the Virtual Con.
Yeah. So like you can access their official Comic-Con panels here on their website, but you can also, like, they have live stream events. Like they did this live discussion with some of the Upload cast at 10 a.m. and you could watch it on Amazon. And they also have great interactive things. They were giving out swag for the boys, but it looks like it's sold out already. So it was first come, first serve. You got to design your own t-shirt or tote bag for the boys, and they were mailing it to you for free. Otherwise, you have this upload thing where you take a selfie of yourself and it puts your face into a whole bunch of like video previews of like your afterlife and upload. But the Hannah escape room, guys, this was incredible. Literally, I didn't think it would be possible to simulate an escape room experience whatsoever. And everybody, first of all, you get to like upload a photo and create your own ID badge for Hannah. I was like, which was fun. And it's a cool little download that you have, and you get to pick your agent name. I'm boring, I just went with my last name. It's fine. I'm Agent Schwartz. I'm completely okay with that. But then like the escape room has a whole series of puzzles, and with 5 different locations that you have to unlock 2 to 3 different puzzles in each location. And there's audio puzzles, there's visual puzzles, there's actual like things that make you like look at documents and decipher, and so much fun. Anybody else? Like, I know, Kristen, you tried the escape room for a little while.
Yeah, I started, but then I just ran out of time. And and I will say, it involves a lot of mental fortitude. Like, you really need to be in it and you need to focus on it. So you can't do it casually while you're doing something else, or you'll just get frustrated.
Just like a real escape room.
But yes, though, is that unlike an actual escape room, you can save your progress and come back to it later. So you can start it, and if you get a phone call or a panel is starting because the escape room took you longer than you thought it would, you save your progress, come back later.
Yeah, I put about 20 minutes into it this morning, and then I actually got distracted on the Amazon Virtual Con by some of these live interviews they were doing. And I thought they were some of the most fun interviews I got to see all day. And Amazon was really smart. They were short and sweet and funny. They had 2 of the actors in Upload do a game where they had to guess if a product was actually sold on Amazon or if it was just in the Upload world.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, and they didn't do so well in the game, so that was interesting. And then bonus, Amazon, of course, being Amazon, had a banner at the bottom of the screen where you could buy said product that they were talking about.
As long as the product did exist. Some of them didn't exist, but yeah, they had a nice little carousel. It was smart of them of like, if you want this shower head that changes colors, like based on the temperature of the water, that's what it was. Yeah.
There was actually there was one that was about something about tea and brewing tea to, I don't know, your emotions or something like that, that I actually saw at South by Southwest a couple years ago. Like, it does exist. It's just not sold yet, marketed yet.
There you go. But yeah, so there's some good activation stuff going on. Once again, I said it yesterday, I'm going to say it again. Amazon is killing it. They're definitely figured out how to do this virtual thing better than anyone so far. My 9 a.m. was extra crazy just because Target was supposed to be releasing that Stan Lee Funko Pop at 9 a.m. and the FX was supposed to launch their website at 2 a.m. and then it got pushed to 9 a.m. And then at 9 a.m. it still wasn't going on, and Mondo was releasing their exclusives at 9 a.m. and just all of this stuff was happening and none of it was working. Target massive fail with that Stanley pop. Can we talk about that for a moment? I don't even know if Trina knows entirely what happened. But apparently Target decided to release it in person at select stores. So if you wanted it, you had to go to the website to figure out if there was a store somewhere in the United States near you that was carrying it. And they had them in select stores around the US. And then you couldn't order it to pick up or order for delivery. You literally had to then nerds during a global pandemic to various Target stores in search of a collectible Funko Pop exclusive. And at a place where like you're supposed to be keeping social distance, they're all gonna be like fighting each other for this pop. Like, what are you thinking, Target?
They're thinking they're gonna make some money.
Get some people sick.
So I'm just gonna go in the morning. And I was like, okay. She went in the morning. She got there 5 minutes after the Target opened. And the Target was like, oh yeah, we had them. They're gone already. Because the person that showed up bought every single one of them. They didn't limit it to one per person or anything. So not only did you send people to your store, like you just created pandemonium. Like Target's not getting another exclusive.
Somebody was saying that the website literally
The
imploded.
Target website, West Hollywood said it was sold out before it even went on sale.
Yeah.
So, okay. Whatever.
It was like the only location in LA that had it was Culver City. And I was like, I'm not driving around my city right now. Like, not to mention there's a panel at 10 a.m. Like, it'd be like if we went to like San Diego and you walked into the exhibit hall at Funko and they were like, oh no, actually it's at the Target in northern San Diego. Like, I don't know. That was crazy. But so it set my morning off in like a very frustrated place where I felt very overwhelmed. I felt very flustered. And like, then I had to go into panels while all of this other stuff was going on. And because the FX thing launched at 9:30 and I decided while I was waiting to start the escape room for Amazon and I was trying to check on other things. And I just at 10 o'clock for the Star Trek panel. So I entirely missed the first 10 minutes of it when they announced the brand new animated series Prodigy, which is, so Nickelodeon and Star Trek are pairing together to do a new animated series called Prodigy. And the only reason I caught it is because I got on Twitter and then it was all over Twitter of like the announcement. I was like, I'm watching oh man, I need to turn everything off. I'm missing what's happening. But yeah, and so then from that point on, like I just panel after panel after panel, and it was too much. I gotta change course for tomorrow, but I at least have a bunch of juicy stuff to talk about from the panels from today. But let's before I go into that, let's talk about somebody else. Oh, we've got a couple of people in the chat room. I completely forgot to have the window open. I'm sorry, guys. The Target website literally imploded this morning for me. Everyone's like, yep, gotta go Target. Peace out on that one. And then I guess the Square Enix, you got some comments that people love the Spider-Man as well, Peter. So there you go.
It's a pretty Spider-Man.
Yeah. Kristen, I know you got into some panels today. Why don't we talk about your panels?
Oh, you want to talk about panels? Okay. I spent most of my day, I think, doing panels, and I was actually intrigued by the variety of types of panels. My favorite by far, as far as how it was put together, was the Superstore panel. Now, this cast did it right. There was no real moderator. They had one of their cast members asking the questions, which was fun, Lauren, who plays Dina. And her first question to her castmates was, describe your emotion as a color. And it just carried on from there. And it actually felt like a real Zoom chat, like the four of us are chatting right now, and something could happen. One of them was late. At one point, there was like noise in the background from a gardener. Like it felt very—
like dog is barking, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It felt authentic to the moment and the times. And they talked about the situation that we're in. They talked about being in quarantine. They opened with a little video about Comic-Con tips and tricks in quarantine, basically. And there was a montage of all of them doing their quarantine thing. And I think then they talked about the status of the show and how the pandemic has impacted that. And my favorite moment from the panel is when they were talking about how they were still in production, sort of that week when you started the week being like, uh-oh, is this a thing? To the end of the week, everything's locked down. And at one point, Nika, who plays Mateus, when they started locking down, he said he tried to loot the Superstore. like he tried to loot Cloud9 for toilet paper, but they were already out.
That's actually really funny though.
Yeah, so I love that panel because it was quippy, it kept things going, it felt very true to the moment, it felt like we were with them live. They had fun videos.
Definitely have to go back and watch that. It was one of the ones I was curious about, but again, I had so many panels today. But you know, like I noticed that same spirit where a lot of them just didn't feel like they were grabbing the audience. I was like, I found it really hard to pay attention. And like I had to go back to like old school of like I'm in a college class, let me take notes as the professor is talking to try to like pay attention to what's going on, because I just wasn't, it's not the same feeling. You don't have 2,000 nerds sitting around you all really anxious to see their favorite actor from the show or whatever it is. And like that was kind of like disheartening a little bit, especially like, so the first big panel I watched was the Star Trek panel, which was supposed to be an hour, and it was not an hour. It went over by 20 minutes. And this is not a live thing. Things happen live. You guys recorded this and edited it and made it 20 minutes longer than it was supposed to be on purpose, which then threw a whole wrench in my plan for the rest of the day. I was like, but then like the table read wasn't a full table read. It was just a clip of the table read. And they were like, the full table read will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. So for those of you that missed it, that want to see the Star Trek Discovery table read, you have to go to, I wrote it down, cbs.com/Star Trek Discovery at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And they will do a full episode table read. I wasn't, okay, the idea of Star Trek doing an animation when they talked about Lower Decks like a month ago, I was like, that's interesting. I don't know how that would work. I don't know if that grabs me. And then they announced Prodigy without showing any clips. And I'm like, oh, they're really going for it, you know? And I love Trek. And I was like, and they showed a clip from Lower Decks. Let me tell you, I am in. And that was like the first moment that started to feel like Comic-Con, because it was like, oh, I'm being shown something new and I'm getting excited and this is great. And nobody had seen this clip before. Right. And the concept, which is really interesting for those that don't know about the show, it's about a Star Trek crew that were like, it's set within Next Generation, but whereas like Jean-Luc Picard and crew would be the first contact with the planet, this crew, this Enterprise ship, is the second contact. They're the people that have everyone sign the paperwork, go over the legal forms, make sure that they spelled the name of the planet right, like stuff like that. They find all of the best places to eat on the planet and write a report about it. And like, that actually sounds like a lot of fun. So, and the voice cast was really cool. So anyway, so Lower Decks, somebody just asked what Lower Decks is. It's a new Star Trek animation series. It is going to be on CBS All Access and it premieres on August 6th. And so between that, and then Picard happened, I was like, this definitely feels like a Hall H panel. They had a lot of graphics that were put in. They added some like sound effects and things like that. They tried to make it spiffy, but I wasn't feeling the magic. So like the way Superstore took for you, that was Upload for me. As soon as I watched Upload's panel from Amazon on Prime, I was just like, it was full of like witty anecdotes and like jokes and camaraderie and personality, and like that felt like Comic-Con.
Yeah, the cast was talking and having a conversation instead of the Q&A style panel.
Yes, and or it wasn't so edited that you lost the personality. It wasn't just like the answer and you move on, you know.
Yeah.
Which was, so like that started to feel like the magic of Comic-Con. And then we always talk about this, like Trina knows about it, Kristen knows about it, Peter, he hasn't actually been to a Comic-Con before. But we every year we try to find our magic moment. What's the thing that made Comic-Con for us? I don't know if this is going to be my only one, but I definitely had a magic moment today. And so during the Upload panel, one of the guy that plays Luke, his name is Kevin Digley. He said something about how he is a hamster and a shark. And he was like, and they were like, so you're a half hamster, a half shark? And he was like, yeah. And in my head, I go, somebody needs to draw that. And then he goes, if somebody wants to make fan art of that. And I was like, that's it, I'm gonna tweet. But who, like somebody out there is at home right now with art skills, who's gonna do this? And Kevin retweeted me with all caps, for the love of God, somebody do this. And then 3 different people, including our friend Marky, Peter.
Oh, nice.
Drew a half shark, half hamster for Kevin. I was like, and I go, this is the magic of Comic-Con. And then Kevin started following me on Twitter. And,
That's awesome.
And we had like a little like short exchange about the fan art. And I just went, this is the magic of Comic-Con. This is that celebrity run-in that you weren't expecting, or that magical interview moment, or whatever it was. I go, this is how it happens here. It was a little magic moment on Twitter. That was my magic.
That's awesome.
Did you end up, Peter, watching any of the Adult Swim stuff today?
No, I did not. My Adult Swim stuff is tomorrow.
Well, I know some stuff started at 4 p.m. today. I guess you just didn't get through any.
I didn't get through that. No.
No worries. Well, then also, I mean, Adult Swim continues on, guys. Adult Swim Con, I should get it correctly, continues until 10 p.m. tonight. So it's even going on right now. And it'll be from 4 to 10. Want to check that out. Trina, were you able to check anything out today? Nothing in the background? No?
No.
Trina and I did some shopping today. Don't negate that.
You did some shopping today, because I apparently can't shop.
I had some technical difficulties, so I helped her check out.
But we are finally the proud owners of P3 t-shirts.
Nice.
Yes, that was
for the original Charmed and not whatever the reboot is.
That's shitty, whatever it is. I don't care who likes it. You're wrong.
Straight from the horse's mouth right there, guys. It doesn't get more real than that. If you guys missed when the Charmed reboot first premiered at Comic-Con, we used to, instead of doing these lives, we would do a podcast, and you can listen to them on Spotify. So the High Voltage Radio Hour. So you can go back to anywhere it's anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find the High Voltage Radio Hour. But you can go back and listen to our archives of to the Charmed reboot, and it's real, and it's magic. You've got to go listen to that.
Filtered.
So somebody in the chat room said it looks super Rick and Morty-esque with the animation. I think they're talking about Lower Decks. I hadn't thought about that. I think the animation style, like how it's drawn, it is a little Rick and Morty. I could totally see that. Also, PSA. Picard panel. They decided to rename Patrick Stewart. So at first they were toying with SPS as being his name, as in like Sir Patrick Stewart. And when they first said SPS, even Sir Patrick was like, what? And then they were like, those are your initials. The S stands for your knighthood. And he was just like, and like he's laughing because he didn't get it. So then he tried to refer to it himself, and he said PCS, which was hilarious. And then he finally stopped everyone from saying SBS, and he said, you know, I did this thing recently, and it was, I don't remember what it was that he was referring to, but basically somebody nicknamed him P Stew. And he said, and I really like that. And so from this point on, guys, we are to call Sir Patrick Stewart P Stew. He is requested.
P Stew. I like that. That's and the fact that he loves it makes it just charming.
Right?
Okay.
She was like, I'm not mad at it.
I mean, we do share the same birthday, so he is my birthday kin, so I can call him P Stew. We're just that close.
Oh, that's true. You
That's
guys are
true.
basically brother and sister.
Not to mention that Trina is sort of like Trek royalty, because your middle name, you were named after Star Trek legend.
Michelle Nichols, Lieutenant Uhura.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're connected. We're so connected.
Yeah.
We have to forward this to P Stew.
That's the best sentence I think I've ever heard in my life.
Forward it to P Stew.
Oh my God. What else? What's another great panel moment for you today, Kristen?
I went to the Historic Materials panel, and I can tell you what my absolute favorite moment for the entire panel was, and it's a bit of a scoop for season 2, which is largely based on book 2, The Subtle Knife, if anyone's familiar with the Philip Pullman series, the book series. And so in the first season, this is mostly the first book, they do intercut a little bit of the second book story, including a photo of Andrew Scott, who plays a character who's in the second book. And so Andrew Scott, if no one knows who Andrew Scott is, he's the hot priest from Fleabag, among other things.
I love him.
Yes. So Andrew Scott's going to be in season 2 more properly. And so they talked a lot about his involvement. My favorite moment of the entire panel, he announced who's going to be voicing his demon, his character's demon. And it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh, wow.
Yes, reuniting Fleabag and the hot priest.
That's really amazing. Well, I mean, she did just win like all of the awards, so like it's smart of HBO to jump on that.
Yeah, so that was my favorite moment. And so Fleabag was rising in popularity while they were filming season 2. So both Lin-Manuel Miranda and some of the other cast members were commenting that every woman that they knew in their lives were texting them or DMing them saying, "Are you working with the hot priest right now?" And that was the thing happening on set while they were filming season 2 of his Dark Materials. And I took great pleasure in all of that information.
Awesome. And to those of you that are in our chat room right now too, we asked it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. What panels did you guys watch today? Like, how did you feel about them? Did they hold your attention? Like, what are you excited about tomorrow? Let us know. I also watched the boys panel today. It was just as entertaining as Upload. So this just goes to show that Amazon has figured everything out, including how to do their panels. But the big news from the boys is not only is season 2 just about to launch, they've already greenlit season 3.
Wow.
So we're getting the 3rd season of The Boys, which I'm excited about. And they had Seth Rogen come on to announce that. And he said, now don't ask me when we're going to start filming it, because anyone's guess, hopefully sometime this decade, because, you know, the pandemic right now, everything's, who knows? Pandemic related things today and how they were handling it. I know you had a moment in his Dark Materials as well with that. And even bigger news that didn't even happen at Comic-Con, but Mulan got postponed indefinitely today. And Star Wars and the Avatar sequels all got pushed back a year. And I'm not just saying next year's, every single one of the trilogy in the next 4 Avatars, all of them got pushed back a year. Like, some big waves going on because of this pandemic.
Oh yeah, the His Dark Materials news was they were asked if the season 2 had been done, if it was going to come out, and they had filmed all but 1 episode. But thankfully, that episode was a standalone. It involved a character that was in season 1, but not in season 2. So they decided to do an episode sort of outside of the story of season 2 to show what that character had been up to. And so they were in the middle of filming that with James McAvoy when they had to shut everything down. So season 2, as it exists, reflecting the book 2, is a regular schedule, not going to be impacted, but the standalone episode may or may not come out at some later time.
Almost like a sign from a higher power, if you will, that they're not supposed to stray from the book.
Maybe. I was excited about it actually because I like his character, and it was lacking from the book for me. So
cool. Let's see. Oh, the only other thing I really was about today. I mean, I did watch another Amazon panel, the Truth Seekers panel. Wasn't much to report there. It's a show that's about paranormal activity. The people that wrote it, it really sounds like the way they came up with this was because of their love for the paranormal. The way that Dan Aykroyd wrote Ghostbusters, because him and his family always were ghost hunting and stuff like that. So if it's in that same vein, it's also supposed to be funny. We'll see what happens when it actually drops. But other than that, it was a Marvel day for me. I was like, and I watched Marvel Storyboards and Marvel 616, and they both seemed oddly similar, but then as long as you kept watching, you realize how entirely different they are while being the same concept. Marvel Storyboards is a brand. And the story of the episode is basically, it's about telling what it takes to tell a good story. It's also just about telling stories in general and being inspired by them. I was like, so Joe Quesada, who works at Marvel, is basically gathering people's stories. And oftentimes from the stories that he's gathering, he's then putting it into the comics. There's this guy that is a professional mountain climber that's going to be in one of the future episodes. and one of his stories of like that it's not so much about getting to the peak, it's about coming down from the peak of like the mountain, I was like, and surviving that. And that approach to it, he ended up putting into a comic, which is really cool. I was like, so the Hugh Jackman episode's up now, which talks about Hugh becoming an actor, including his jobs at like 7-Eleven and at a Shell gas station, which were hilarious. And that was just really cool. And then it goes into actually Hugh playing Wolverine and what it was like for him to get into that character. And it was funny because he was like, he goes, you know, I did this whole like 2-week research on wolves. And I developed this whole look of like wolves are very much like in their brow. And I'm going to keep my head down and kind of do this like, and the director was like, what are you doing? He was like, well, wolves. And he was like, that's not a thing. And he was like, but I'm the Wolverine. He was like, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's a wolf. And he was like, what are you talking about? Wolverine wolves. And he was like, no, there's an actual animal. He was like, go to the zoo. There's an animal called the Wolverine. This blew my mind because I too did not know that there was an actual Wolverine until today.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, they are pretty vicious though. So with him saying that to Hugh Jackman, it kind of like, well, Wolverines are pretty nasty little buggers too. So I don't know.
Yeah. That was really fascinating. But then Marvel 616 is a new docu-series that is exclusive to Disney Plus. I was like, and this is actually diving deeper into the people that created the characters of Marvel Comics and how they created the characters and what those characters really are about. And like, what's really interesting is that every episode has a different director. So like every episode's going to look entirely different than the one before it because each of these directors have a very different documentary style and a different story they're trying to tell. So if you didn't like one episode, you might like the next episode better, which is fascinating to me. I think it's great for casual Marvel fans because you're going to learn a lot about Marvel. Like, if you never really read the comics, you're probably not aware that there's a supervillain named Typeface, or that there's actually a character called Asbestos Lady that's literally has the powers of asbestos, or Hell Cow. Do you know about the cow? Hell Cow, like part of Deadpool. This is amazing. Like, you're going to learn about a lot of these things. I was like, and then for bigger fans, there's just going to be added value and appreciation to things you already know. So that was really kind of cool to see. And there's no date as to when that's coming on Disney Plus, but and then other than that, like by that point, getting through all that stuff, I was like, I can't sit on this couch any longer. I'm really missing having to walk between panels and like having that 10-minute break between things and just
like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, you know, I was just like, even just sometimes I would get so bored in like a panel, I'd be like, I'm just gonna go roam the exhibit hall for a while, you know, and like, and there was none of that. Like, what am I gonna do? Go roam my kitchen for a while? I've been doing that for 5 months.
Well, that's why I did take the breaks to go back to the exhibit hall, the floor, and go through some booths. I made it through L alphabetically, and I found some fun stuff. My favorite, if I could buy any one thing today, and this is ridiculous because I kind of already own it, I would have gone to the Doubleday Publishing Group booth and gotten a copy of The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern in paperback because that is my favorite book of the last, 5 years. I own 2 copies of it. I own the advanced copy and I own the European hardcover.
Oh, wow.
But this was like a new cover, you know? And so I would totally have gotten that today. I also stumbled across the Hallmark booth, which had some fun stuff. It had a Bogart Snape ornament.
I saw that.
Which is fun, and a Deadpool itty bitty that comes in a fun rainbow taco.
Yeah.
And what I appreciated about them is so you could see the things that they had on sale, the exclusives, but they had a sort of unboxing type video you could click. And so you could see more everything in 3D, and you can see the sizing of it and how it looked when someone held it.
Which is definitely something that's missing right now because
Right.
if we're at the exhibit hall, things before I buy them. I am that person.
Yeah, so I appreciated that. And then I found some fun artwork. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Jenny Park illustrations, but this booth has been at several cons. And what this woman does, she's a genius. She takes characters like superheroes or any kind of character you might think, and she makes them into cats.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I do know this booth.
Yes, and I love it because she chooses just the right type of cat for the character. It's genius, and she had a couple really fun ones, including a Cat of the Rings,
Oh.
which had a golem, and I don't know if you guys want to guess what cat breed golem.
I'm thinking Egyptian.
Yes, the Sphinx, hairless Sphinx. Yes,
that's hilarious.
It was brilliant, and so that I really enjoyed that.
And we can show that the live tomorrow and show people the cat art because that's fun.
Yeah, she also had a good Meowmans one.
Oh, Meowmans.
Meown DeLorean, and she had a Strange Fur Things.
Strange Fur Things.
Nice.
So I really enjoyed that.
Awesome. My final little Marvel thing was that when I was just losing my mind, I can't take any more of this. I was just like, I put on Marvel HQ, that was the other Marvel panel, and I was like, I'm just gonna have this on in the background. But then it started by doing a learn how to draw, and I was like, that's different than sitting here and watching. And he was like, you just need a paper and pen, and I had my notebook in my hand, so we drew Venom today.
Oh, nice.
I was like, but I got bored halfway through, so I stopped watching.
Oh, no.
At least there was something somewhere that was a little more active, you know?
Right.
But yeah, that was my last little Marvel bit of my Marvel run from today. What else? I feel like, didn't you have an author panel?
Yes, so I actually went to sampled 3 different author panels today, and they were very different, all of them. I was most excited by the Jim Butcher 20 Years of Harry Dresden panel. That ended up being the one that was the hardest for me to get through. And that was largely because of the format. It was Q&A, it was one person talking to one person, and it just seemed like the moderator was reading a list of questions and he was answering them. There was really nothing to engage me. If I was in the room with them, it would feel different, like you were saying, Chelsea. Mm-hmm. But that was a hard hour. I skipped forward a little bit. And then I saw a little bit of Brandon Sanderson's panel, which was interesting in its format because it was just him and a laptop. So it was good in that he's a good storyteller himself, so he could kind of create his own tempo and pacing, and he was taking questions from his laptop. So I like that a little bit more than the kind of awkward Q&A style one. But my favorite was it Orbit Publishing did the up and coming science fiction fantasy writer panel today. And it was highly edited, but in a way that made authors who aren't always the most entertaining speakers, it made them entertaining.
Oh.
So I thought that was really smart to edit, because they could cut out anything long-winded, and they made fun, snappy questions, and all the authors got to ask the other authors on the panel random questions, like if your book was, huh?
I said, that's fun.
Was it fun?
No, I said, that's fun that they got to answer their questions.
Yeah, exactly. And so the first question I think that was asked was, if your book, and these are books people are really unfamiliar with because these are up and comers. So if your book was a food or drink, what would it be?
Oh, wow.
And so then you could get a flavor, almost literally, of the book that you don't know that much about, without them having to go into sort of the standard, this is the plot, these are the characters, this is the genre. So I thought that was really fun.
What was the name of that panel?
I think it was up and coming authors, science fiction fantasy authors from Orbit. Orbit's New Voices in Science Fiction and Fantasy.
So just in case people want to go back and watch it, I just want to give people the name of it because that actually sounds entertaining.
It was, and then they had some of the more established authors pop in to do little cameos.
Nice, that's awesome.
I do want to mention we're missing comedy gold with some of the puns. We missed a lot of cat puns, or a couple cat puns.
Well, we do have people in the chat room saying "my precious."
And then also a question about Lord of the Rings TV show. Is that just completely? I haven't seen anything on that. Any of you guys?
I'm so tired of talking about it because there's nothing new to talk about. It's all we've talked about for 2 years now on the OneRing.net. So, I mean, New Zealand is back up and running for production. I was like, so they are moving forward on the Lord of the Rings show, but there is nothing really to talk about right now. And they weren't giving us any information at Comic-Con. The panel that you can watch from Torn on the OneRing.net has the latest in terms of new merchandise releases and things like that. And a little bit of filming news, but again, any news that we have right now is like, they've added another cast member and we're not sure what they're playing yet, you know? And
Nice.
also, every time they do give us a character name, it's a character that's never been written about. So
An obscure character, right?
So we really have no idea what's going on with Lord of the Rings right now. But as soon as there is more juicy stuff to talk about, you can believe that I will be talking about it on theonering.net. And if we have a live around that time, I will share it with you guys. People were also really interested to know more about Magic the Gathering stuff because, I mean, gamers like that in general. Did you see any Magic stuff, Peter?
I did see that Mark Rosewater is going to have a. I don't think it's live. I think it's one of those YouTube. They're going to post it, and I don't think there's going to be a Q&A. But if there is, I will definitely be attending that and trying to get in on that. It's because I've been really looking to hear something from the Magic community and Comic-Con, you know?
Totally. I was like, which is actually a great little segue as we're starting to get towards the end of tonight's live into our highlights for tomorrow, for things that you should look out for, like things that are at the top of your schedule, maybe stuff that you missed from today. Especially, for example, a lot of the exhibit hall stuff, the new exclusives for tomorrow will go on sale at 9 a.m. So definitely be up for that if you're looking for anything. Future Tech Live, which we talked about in depth yesterday, went live today at 9 a.m. This was another disappointment at 9 a.m. Because it went live and it was only for Windows. If you are a Mac user like me, you had no option. But I got a hold of them and there is a Mac option. Don't worry, guys. I think maybe even tomorrow we'll be able to actually join in for the NASA activation and Beat Saber and all of the other fun stuff that's going on, like the Dr. Seuss Museum. So pay attention for that. Also, one booth we keep forgetting to talk about, but me and Kristen at least several times have been like, this has really cool stuff. Candlewick Press. It's mainly like kids books and stuff, but they also have Where's Waldo. They are doing their virtual booth better than anybody I've seen. I was like, every single booth has something else going on with it. Like when you you have to click on the product, each product that they have. But it'll be like a note from the author, a downloadable activity sheet, a word search, a color your own Where's Waldo page. They have like a 30% off discount code for everything and giveaways. There's even one book in there that you can fully download. Just
Wow.
Here's the book. Like
they have the story of the princess in the coronavirus or something like that.
Wow.
It's very relevant. It shows all the heroes that they're washing their hands and they're doing
Wearing masks.
distancing. And yes.
Yeah. And then I know personally, I don't have a lot on my panel scheduled tomorrow, but I'll talk about what I have there in a second. But I think I'm going to catch up on some of the panels I really wanted to see today. Like I didn't watch his Dark Materials because I had a conflict. I really wanted to see Music for Animation with Alan Tudyk hosting. I managed to watch about 20 minutes of it before we went live. So I have like a gist of things. Alan was hilarious as always. And the team that's behind Olaf's Frozen Adventure in Central Park talked a lot about Josh Gad. And let me tell you, for Josh Gad, it is unbelievable. And if you have not watched his YouTube series, Reunited Apart, you absolutely have
you
to
told
go
me
through.
about it. I watched it and I do not regret it. It was amazing.
So
Yeah.
that actually set me up for disappointment in some of these panels because the way he does in that series, the introduction of the panel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which when you were saying that Superstore had things of like unexpected and people were arriving late, it made me think of Reunited Apart. Like could Comic-Con hire Josh Gad to just host these panels? Like, because clearly you've got a sense of how to entertain us online.
Right. There is a way you could introduce people other than just popping 8 people up on screen while they all stare at you awkwardly.
You turned it into a legitimate show, and you're watching this thing. It's like a production, even though it's a Zoom meeting, but it was more than that.
I do have to say that Aisha Tyler, who moderated the boys panel, at least brought the Comic-Con spirit when she introduced everyone. She did it like she would have done at the convention, where it was like, and please welcome Carl Urban, and like everybody was going, yeah, like and next up we have Chase Crawford, whoa, yeah, Chase, and one person in the background, boo, I was like, and I literally, that was happening while I was making lunch, and I was like in the background going, yeah, that's good. That feels like Comic-Con energy. That instead of just being like, we're here with everybody. Hi, everybody.
I
Yeah.
also appreciate anyone who maintains their name tag somewhere where you can see who's talking and what their name, who they are.
Yeah.
There haven't been many panels to do that, and then I get confused and lost.
Yes. Especially on the ones that have like more than 4 people. Like keep the name card up for a little while, please.
Yes.
Especially because if we were at Comic-Con, they would have their names in front of them, the little placards, the whole time.
Exactly.
Oh, well, all right. So tomorrow, what's on everyone's schedule?
I will start with that. Around 1 p.m., IDW is going to have Draw Your Own Ninja Turtle. So I saw you with your Venom thing. I'm hoping to show you guys my Ninja Turtle that I'm going to draw with IDW tomorrow. Adult Swim will be doing around the same time. Actually, no, exactly the same time. So I'll have to try to get into that. YOLO Crystal Fantasy. Don't know what it's about. Don't know what it's about, but it's Adult Swim and it has YOLO in it. So
It's enough right there.
I'm there. I'm in it. 3 p.m. Hulu is talking about Hellstrom, a new series, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's on my list. So it's a new Marvel series. Hulu, in addition to Disney Plus, will be having a lot more Marvel content coming down the road, and this is their first reveal within Marvel, and I'm very excited about it.
And then already I'm there for the Eric Lang and friends, basically, big developers and designers talking about
Basically,
how to
it's the
get your
Eric
work
Lang
onto-
panel. We don't care about who else is there. It's the Eric Lang panel.
I didn't want to say that, but that's exactly what I'm thinking in my head, because I see Eric Lang and you could say George Lucas or anybody else, and I'm just like, oh, it's Eric Lang. It's talking about board games. So talking about getting your idea onto the tabletop, and I think that's a really exciting thing to have industry leaders talking about this subject. I also have Crossing Swords, which is doing something tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and then Rick and Morty is going to be doing their 5 p.m.
So everything you just named, I think, except for Rick and Morty, is official Comic-Con programming. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Rick.
So
The Rick.
asked in the chat, like, where can people watch stuff? So if you go to Comic-Con International's YouTube, you'll be able to see every panel that we've been talking about and that Peter just mentioned, except for Rick and Morty. But Rick and Morty will be at the Adult Swim Con. So if you search Adult Swim Con on like Google, you'll find a link, and you can watch the Rick and Morty panel. What time is that one?
5 p.m.
Anything else?
That as if that wasn't enough. I definitely would I saunter into other things, but those are my highlights. It's definitely what I'm looking forward. If something in between comes through, I'm definitely gonna try to add that to that list.
I like how you say sauntering into things, because I feel like for me, that's what my tomorrow is going to look like. I don't really have a lot of must-see panels, but I have a bunch that I'm happy to saunter into. That's
right. Yeah.
And see if they engage me. I'm always on the lookout for a new author, and some of the book giveaways are usually how I find those new authors. And since I don't have the book giveaways, I might
there's this enter to come out of them online. Maybe you'll win one.
Yeah, maybe, because I usually end up reading those books, and sometimes I fall in love. So I like discovering new books at Comic-Con. And there's a spotlight on a new author tomorrow at 1, Darcy Little Badger. And I only sort of highlighted it because there's a giveaway at one of the booths, I think a signed nameplate that you can enter. And so I'm thinking, if I were at Comic-Con and I got that nameplate, I'd be more interested in this author. So I'm going to check her out. So I might do that. And then the day opens with a Charlize Theron Evolution of a Badass.
Ooh, that actually sounds really cool. I love it.
Yeah, and I just watched The Old Guard, so that one's fresh in my head. And they're talking about a lot of movies that I've seen and I like, and I think that could be interesting. So
nice.
Those are two. And then from you were talking earlier about your drawing. They're doing a Make Your Own Felted Friends panel.
I did see that one, but I was like, Ninja Turtle puppet.
Same time. Yeah, so I'm a part of a fiber arts club, and we get together and crochet, and felting's one of the things that some of the people do. So I haven't, but I have some of the materials to do it because they've been left around my house.
Oh, it's perfect.
And so I might check that one out.
I did find out that Marvel drawing we did, apparently that Marvel HQ, which is its own YouTube channel, does these things like weekly, where you learn from a Marvel artist how to draw stuff. And I was like, good to know as we continue quarantine, because maybe I'll go find a Loki tutorial. And if not, you should make one.
Bring it out there. Put that energy out there.
Right? My Friday's a little light tomorrow. I was like, there's only 2 panels I'm really, really excited about. I was like, and then I have another one that like I'll saunter into maybe.
Hey, I'm gonna start trademarking that.
Like,
I'm the saunter.
But the one that I would saunter into, I think, is one that Trina would be really excited about. Are you planning on trying to get to the Vikings panel at some point?
I have a job. I can't get
you
into
have a job for a few hours of the day, not nighttime, not on the weekend. You can watch the programming at any time because it's not live. So I said, are you getting to watch it at some point?
Not until this week is over.
So yes, you are planning to watch it at some point.
Maybe next month.
Okay. Anyway. Sorry for the resistance. We don't need negativity on this feed from anybody. Thank you.
I'm just tired.
We all have jobs. This is my job. All right. So, Hellstrom Marvel that Peter is going to be watching. I was like, that's on my list for tomorrow. But then the TV Guide fan favorites, which is always one of my favorite panels at Comic-Con, where they literally just pull random cast members from different shows. And that's at 6 p.m. So even Trina could watch it because she doesn't work at that point. I was like, so that will be the last panel I'm doing until we start our live, because we'll be back here at 7:30 again tomorrow to talk about yesterday, if we found any more giveaways, things like that. But I also just want to show everybody this, because a lot of people seem to have missed this. But don't forget, if you don't have a lot on your schedule for tomorrow like us, you can go to fxsdcc.com and there's this activation. And you can pull this little tent around and explore it. And there's different shows that you can then go to, or you can just come up here and click. And some of them have different games. There's a cosplay gallery. You can actually enter the cosplay contest to like win prizes. I don't understand why Dave has to have the boxers coming out of the boxers. The entire ad campaign has been crazy to me. But like on here is interactive. Like you can explore everything. You can open notes and files, and if you go to the What We Do in the Shadows portion of it, you can play a game that's actually a lot of fun, where you're slaying vampires and werewolves. And if you have one of the top 50 scores every day, you'll win What We Do in the Shadows playing cards. And you can win Dave boxers. There's an enter to win on the website and all sorts of fun goodies. So besides the Amazon Virtual Con, make sure you check out fxsdcc.com. Something else to do tomorrow. And otherwise, hit the convention center. And if you don't remember how to get to the exhibit hall floor and find those giveaways and the contests, and go to our video from yesterday. It'll say preview night in the thumbnail. And we're showing you our little life hack as to how to get around the exhibit hall. And
yeah, for some people asking questions of like where to get that stuff, the previous video, those shortcuts are like lifesavers.
Totally. Absolutely. I was like, and otherwise, if you need a one-stop shop for everything, and we've been reminding people about this every day, follow High Voltage Mag on Twitter if you have a Twitter account, but Twitter you can access without an account either, or just on your computer. And we're retweeting and sharing as much information as we can at every given point. Like when His Dark Materials dropped the new little trailer, New Mutants today showed the first like 2 minutes of the movie, and we retweeted that footage. Season 3 announcements, we're retweeting stuff about exclusives and all of that stuff. So High Voltage Mag, one-stop shop. You can just kind of catch up on where to go, what you missed. Like this pen. I missed this pen even being announced, and it's already sold out, but that would have been a great one to buy. So yeah, that's what we got for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will be back again tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. And you never know who might crash the stream and join us, because we have some special guests coming for the rest of our streams. So definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, anybody else? Any other burning desires, last minute thoughts, something you forgot about that you just remembered?
So I did have a thought today as I was cruising around, and something that we miss when we're not physically there. There's usually like a cosplay or two that's really popular every year. I don't know if you remember the year everyone was Deadpool as something.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, what do you think this year's big cosplay would be?
Virus.
What's that?
A virus.
Oh,
It's everybody walking around dressed like a virus.
Marvel viruses. I'm trying to think what was trending in movies and TV, really. The problem is 2020. I mean, let's go to 2019 then.
You know what I want to see, Peter? The Great costumes.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah, indeed. There, I did it this time.
I thought it would be everyone dressed as whatever they are, but carrying around the child from The Mandalorian.
Oh, the child. How do I forget that? Yeah,
bandits.
absolutely. That would have been a lot. Or Deadpool carrying the child.
Yes.
I think that's very good as well. That entire series cast, like it would have just been a lot of that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I kind of keep forgetting that Mandalorian, like the season finale was still this year.
Right.
Like,
Right.
that was so long ago. All right. Well, and until tomorrow night, guys, 7:30, same bat time, same bat channel. Tell your friends if you have any questions, bring them for us. Leave them in a comment. Good to see you guys, and make sure you go to that escape room from Amazon, that Hannah thing, because it's so much fun. You need an hour and a half to kill or something. It'll keep you entertained.
Sounds good.